Hi everyone. I had a question from someone regarding the ones taken and the ones left in Matthew 24. This is commonly interpreted as a rapture passage. The person who asked me the question knew that this is not the case, but wasn't quite sure about the reasons why. And I did answer that question, but since this is a question that many have, and I have a few minutes here, I thought, why not do a quick, spontaneous video about it? Let's read the passage first. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. Prior to that, Jesus had told the disciples that the temple would be destroyed, and they had asked the following question: Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? When will these things be? That was referring to the destruction of the temple. What will be the sign of your coming? Now, by coming, they had Jesus' coming to establish the kingdom in mind, not the rapture, because the church didn't even exist at that time, and the concept of the rapture wasn't known either. It was a mystery at that time, a secret not yet revealed. It was only revealed to Paul. He said in 1 Corinthians 15, "Behold, I tell you a mystery," when he talked about the rapture. So that was not in view during that conversation. And when they asked, what is the sign of your coming and of the end of the age, they were referring to the end of the millennium and the eternal state. So that was what their questions were aimed at. Now it's interesting and important to see the direct, immediate context here. Before Jesus talks about the men in the field and the women at the mill, he mentions Noah and the flood, and it's interesting because the same verb is used here, namely the taking away. It says here that the flood came and took them all away. So the taking away here in the direct context of the passage is negative. The ones taken away in the flood were taken away in judgment. So that's an important first point to note. Now let's see how other passages handle this concept. And I won't be reading the whole parables, just excerpts. This is from the parable of the wheat and the tares. Here it says, "Let both grow together until the harvest, and at the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them up, but gather the wheat into my barn." Now note the order of things here. First, the ones are gathered, the ones that go into judgment, and they are being removed, and those that remain are the believers. Then there's also the parable of the Dragnet. Let's read an excerpt here. "So it will be at the end of the age, the angels will come forth, separate the wicked from among the just, and cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth." The pattern is always that a separation takes place. First, the unbelievers are gathered and they come into judgment, and then the new situation is that the believers are the ones that are left in a positive sense. We also see that in the sheep and goat judgment. At the end, Jesus says, "And these will go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into everlasting life." The go away again is negative, and the staying or remaining is positive. this is similar to what David expresses in Psalm 23, when he says that he will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That is a positive concept. Both in Hebrew and in Greek, the word dwell can also be translated abide. So the one who abides in God's presence is the believer. Let's also go to the rapture passage in 1 Thessalonians 4. There it says, "Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and thus we shall always be with the Lord." This is different here, the verb caught up. This is the Greek word harpazo, and it means a sudden snatching away. It is several times translated as caught up. It's not like the taking away, but it's translated as caught up, like into heaven to the Lord, like in this passage here, but also, for example, in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 4, where Paul talks about his experience and says that he was caught up into paradise. So this is a different verb that's being used here, not the taking away. And again, we have the concept of abiding with the Lord, like in David's psalm. Here we have, we shall always be with the Lord. So the being taken away is out of God's presence, a removal from it, and the contrast is the abiding with the Lord. So the ones that are left in the passage in Matthew 24 are the surviving believers of the tribulation. They are the ones who have survived, and at the second coming, the separation will take place, and only those that are left, that remain, that are not being taken away, are the ones that will go into the millennium. I know this was very short, but I hope it helps.